Alright, sorry about the pressure washer sound, but if you have a wife, you'll understand. So, we got this guy all, you know, pulled down. The dipstick did not want to come out. It was rusted up in this hole like there's no tomorrow. I had to end up using a torch and heating the bejesus out of it. And then once we got the torch, then I just vice gripped and kind of wiggled it and jiggled it and hit it with a hammer, and it finally gave up. But what I want to talk to you guys about is this guy. So you probably saw on my other engine I have a little dog bone that goes on here. It doesn't really take up any slop. Look how much slop is in that chain. Oh my goodness. But anyway, what I wanted to say is I've seen multiple occasions where these plastic dilly guys break. And when they break, what happens is it drops to the oil pan, and then this plastic goes right into your oil pickup and starves the engine for oil, and you're done. So I'm sure people have, you know, obviously this probably ran 100,000 miles and God knows how many hours with this, you know, configuration, and that's fine. But it's just one of those things that, hey, I've seen it happen, and why not just replace it with that dog bone, and there's one less thing to worry about. And it's cheap too. I think the dog bone is actually cheaper than one of these replacement guys. So there's my 2 cents. Look at this funky cam gear, man. This thing's wild. It's the first time I've seen the oh my goodness, come on Mike, the variable valve timing stuff. It also has, surprisingly enough, or not surprising if you know, it has all these stupid plugs, well not plugs, it has all the, for the displacement on demand stuff. So I kind of like to plug those up, but I kind of don't want to drill and tap the block and have to disassemble everything just to clean it. So that's what I'm wrestling with in my mind now. Do I do that, just plug them all and be done with it, or do I just run the O-ring cap guy and hope that the O-rings don't fail? Yeah. So back to it. Pressure washer's still going. I thought she'd be tired by now, but she's still going. So here is the block. We got it all stripped, all the pistons stripped out, and just labeled them 1 through 8 down here on our box. One thing I thought was interesting was I was always taught, this is exactly, you guys can see the little dot on the piston right there, and that obviously indicates forward. And what I was always taught was the chamfer on the rods goes to the outside, but not not according to GM. So all the chamfers were just straight back. So the chamfer on the number 1 rod was to the back, and the chamfer on the number 2 rod, you'll see, was to the back. So it makes me think that my hands are all oily, I just wiped them down, which makes me think that the whole chamfer thing is just another old wives' tale. So the good thing is, you guys saw the last block, it was very sticky. This guy, it spins nicely, so that is a good sign. And yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is I really don't want to pull the crankshaft, but I also want to hone it, and I don't want to mess up the crankshaft while I'm honing it, and I also want to clean it. So I guess what I'll do is pull the crankshaft, although I don't want to. It's dumb, Mike. You should just leave well enough alone. Caps are off, and they look pretty good. I mean, this is basically, you know, what they look like when they are new. There's a little bit of odd little pits here and there, but I'm just guessing course, why don't you grab? So you can kind of see that line right there through the kind of the middle, a little to the left, goes right through. And there's probably like a little booger got in there, just got rolled around. It's probably either embedded in here now or embedded in the bottom, or else it'll spiral out the bottom. But you'll see like little guys like that, but that's no big deal. I mean, generally the bearing material itself looks really nice on all of them. And you saw how the crankshaft spun. We'll pull this guy out and set him. If I leave that there, guarantee Bob is going to come by and do Bob things. Do Bob stuff. Alright. So there are the bearings on the inside. And yeah, they're all good too. So the thing is, the one thing I wish, you know, if I could have my like magic wand and wave and say this is the one thing I'd fix on the LS engine, is I would have these guys doweled. Like the LSX blocks have basically like a dowel, kind of like what's on your cylinder head that keeps the cap centered. So every time you put it back, the cap goes to the exact same spot. That's not exactly how it works with this. It gets generally the same spot, but that spot could be off a little bit depending on how you put the caps in on these guys. So it's just something to keep in mind. I just try to center them all up, tap them in. But we'll pull all these guys out. We'll number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stick them with the caps, and then we can get with probably seeing if I have plugs for those top oil galleys. Since I've already got this far, I might as well drill and tap those top oil galleys and plug them, and then we can go back and run the hone through it. Yeah, let's do that. I'm super annoyed. Beyond annoyed. I don't even know how to describe it. Somewhere in my shop is a wooden kit, like a wooden box, and inside that box is all my pipe taps. Now, I've spent the last 2 hours looking for that box. It was in the top of that toolbox right there, but it has mysteriously transported itself to another dimension. So I was lucky, and I have these little guys. I think I bought 2. I ended up using stainless steel in the other motor, and I had some brass ones that I had. So I ended up running all the way, it's like an hour drive back and forth to Harbor Freight to get this piece of crap one, which I'm really not super happy about. It's in pretty bad shape, but anyway, we got it. And we're going to drill this guy. So you find the corresponding drill these guys down, tap it, and put the plugs in it. And then we'll be done. Super annoyed. Super annoyed. Okay, we managed to get these guys tapped out with our cheap Harbor Freight cast dies. So onto cylinder honing. I've never dingle ball honed anything before, so we'll give it a shot, see how it goes. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Probably went a little too long on that one, but you can see what the rest of the pattern is going to be. Not it really matters to me what it is. Come on. Oh, what do you think? What do you think? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Alright, so here is what we got going on now. Before they were kind of shiny, kind of glazed, and now they are not as shiny or as glazed. This is probably the best angle I guess I'm going to get on it. Let's see if we can get a, yeah, so Not bad. Yeah. Just like certain angle, it just kind of washes away. But yeah, so these guys are all tapped, and these guys are all kind of deglazed, I think was probably the best way to say that. They're not honed, they're not bored, they're just not glazed as much anymore, which should help kind of control the oil. It's kind of funny that it didn't. There's like this oil buildup down there on the bottom, you guys can see, and the honey hones didn't mess with that. It's just that baked on layer of oil, boy, you can't mess with it. I've seen these come out of a straight hot tank, I guess you would call it, and still have those little oil spots on it. So anyway, next step here is close the garage door, get this stuff cleaned up, and power wash all the little iron bits out of this guy, because we don't want that floating around the oil while we're doing car stuff. Yeah, so yeah, I gotta clean all this mess out of there and make sure that we got the galleys washed out really well. This cylinder's got a spot in it. I can't see it. There is like a little spot right here. I guess maybe from water sitting in it. It's not terribly bad, but it is there. Let me get a light. I can see it. I don't know if it shows in the camera. Yeah, there's a little light spot right there. And yeah, so none of the cylinders are like perfect. Let's see if we can do this. Does that show any better? That shows, oh yeah, you can see it right there. So all the cylinders have like a little spot on them that is like either, you know, something got in there and kind of scratched, like this guy right there, you can see. There's one right there, deep scratcher guy, but that happens. I mean, it's still running right. So we got this guy in here. You can see that, and we're going to check the gaps on these rings. That's the second ring. We made this cool little boop piston ring squaring tool with the Auto Fusion 360. It's nice to have an iron block because my magnet sticks to it. Damn it. So we're going to go ahead and check each one of these guys and gap them to, I think, 28 thou. And we'll start the reassemblage.